Good afternoon. My name is Kelvin Howell, Jr., and I'm conducting an interview with Professor Dr.
Not
Not
yet.
Professor
Give me a couple
Rashawn
years.
Smith, who is an adjunct professor in the program of Human Services at Metropolitan College of New York in the School of Audrey Cohen, School of Human Services and Education. This interview is being conducted in the Bronx campus on 149th and 3rd Avenue in the requirements to help me fulfill my bachelor's of professional studies in the human service program as well, for the promoting empowerment through the arts with Dr. Professor Sally. So first part of this interview was done audio, and now we're going to do a video part. As Dr. Sally and the class know, I do love an interview. So we have our water, we have our questions. The audio was an introduction and was done from question 1 through 4. The remaining questions will be done through video. Dr. Smith. No, Professor Smith.
Okay, you keep saying doctor. But
because I love her, because it's on our way. We got to speak it into existence.
You have to speak it into
We have to speak it into existence. And she's a 2-time alumni. I plan on being a 2 or 3-time alumni here. So I am super, super excited about it. We have someone else coming in that's just going to enjoy the interview. I don't know if she wants to be on camera, but this is one of my co-laborers in a different course. So if you want to say hi to Dr. Sally in the class.
Hi, Dr. Sally.
Gotta get them on the camera so they can see you. She's a 1-time alumni like me. And see, guys, this is what support is about. When you're doing a project, it can be fun. And so I'm just gonna get out because we have a lunch date. So, okay, back. Question 5. When students on their purpose-centered journey at MCNY in life run into a wall, how should they utilize advocacy and to what level?
Well, okay, so for me, anytime I have an issue and I'm consumed with it, I look within, but I also pose the question, who is worse off? Who else is in this situation that may not have the advantages and privileges that I have? And so I go outside of myself. If I'm consumed with the issue or problem, who can I help? Because in helping somebody else, you usually tend to help yourself, or it helps you. It just broadens your perspective on how big the issue is. You know, is it so serious? What can I do to help it? You might even get the answer by advocating for somebody else. So I think when students run into a problem, advocacy is really important, because not only do you want to advocate for somebody else, but that person is going to be there to support and help you. You know, and we're not supposed to go this alone. You know, the whole point is that we do this together and that we make a difference together and we get the support we need and take it outside of the school, you know, so.
And then, you know, in life, they always say there's levels to everything. To what level? Like, I know being someone that's into advocacy and have advocated for a lot of stuff for gay rights, fair housing in New York, you know, it kind of brings in a philosophy of like a Dr. Martin Luther King and a Malcolm X, where one was more peaceful and more was more forceful. So when a student,
but you know what? I think there was peace in that force.
I agree. Oh, I agree.
I
totally
do.
agree. I totally agree. I just know that sometimes when you're an advocate, there are advocates that will be on the front line, but not going to be in prison for anything.
Okay.
So not saying there's a right or wrong. Okay. I just know when an injustice is done as a fellow student, and as a student still, and a professor now, sometimes as a student, we don't know what to give the advocacy for versus what not to. So a great example probably would be like, if you don't agree with a grade. Okay. Let's say that. Okay. What is how forceful, how unforceful, or, you know, like, should a student be with something like that?
Well,
or could be.
You never want to disrespect the work that you've put in already. You don't want to be and you don't want to disrespect yourself. So you don't want to advocate so hard that you lose focus. You know, and you want to choose your battles, pick your battles. There's a protocol to everything. I believe in you, and you know, I'm old school. I'll write it down. I take notes. But if you put it in an email, if you put it in a letter, and you address the right person correctly, I think you can get further that way. Because you're in a professional setting,
right?
You know, then you can just and verbalizing your feelings. Feelings are very personal, but feelings aren't always facts. So I think, you know, you can be Malcolm X and be wise,
careful,
and careful, and put it in the right context. Like, do your email, send it out to the correct person, CC another person if you want witness protection,
right?
And wait for the proper response. And if you don't get that, then you print your email out, you send it again, you go, you have a conversation, you set up a meeting. Always, and we've spoken about this in the classroom, we've spoke about this, always ask the person when they're available. Even in a heated argument, you always want to give that person, just ask the question, are you able to speak at such and such time? First of all, people aren't used to that.
Right.
You know, people, no, absolutely not. People aren't used to that. People are used to instant gratification, instant talk time. They're used to you or that party wanting that. So for you to pose the question, are you available? Is it okay do you have the time? It brings down the level of intensity.
Right.
You know? So yeah, there are different levels to advocacy, and there are some people that are better in the office writing the proposals, and there's some people that are better in the front lines, you know, making the situation heard. You know, so, but know who you are. If you're an office person, if you are more withdrawn, laid back, introvert, know that about yourself, because I would hate for you to go out and speak on someone's behalf and you miss the points.
Right.
Or don't say what needs to be said, or play the nice and fall in line, go along to get along. There's no advocacy in that sometimes. So you may need to be in the office, but if you're strong, if you have your points down and you're ready to debate properly and you're ready for the questions and more answers, and then you should be in the front line. People should see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Question 6 would be, is advocacy an essential part of purpose-centered education?
I don't think so. And the reason why I say that is because you have to understand what you're advocating for first. I think you need to understand your purpose and be educated in your purpose before you understand what you're advocating for. You know, you just don't want to jump into every situation and every, you know, not everything is for everyone, and everyone has a different level of understanding.
So education should occur prior to advocacy.
I believe so.
Education never stops, right? But understanding your purpose and being educated in that should come prior to advocating. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Question 7. How have you applied purpose-centered education to your professional and personal life? You can answer both or one. It's up to you.
Professional, I'm sitting here doing an interview.
Yeah.
You know, like literally, I have been so grateful to be in a position where all the professors that helped me on Canal Street, yeah, I'm old school, from Canal Street, I can now give that back. I can
I just interject for 1 minute for you guys that don't know the history of our school?
We were on Canal Street,
MCNY was on Canal, and we're now on 60 West in Manhattan, and we also have this lovely campus where we're broadcasting from in the Bronx, New York,
which is fabulous. I love the Bronx.
the heart of the boogie down, as you know. So
yeah. So professionally, I've been in a position where I could come back, and I've been trusted and honored, you know, to teach a couple of classes and instruct a couple of classes, and that's how it's, you know, come into my professional life. Personal life, I think we spoke about this the other day. My relationships have changed. The way I spend my money has changed. How I eat has changed. Choices. understanding your purpose, we really need to have purpose-centered education in grade schools.
I always say
Seriously,
that.
I think this purpose-centered education needs to start in grade schools. No, and I get
in the pre-K for all curriculum.
Well, you know what? As children, you have a purpose as a child. Yes. It may change. Heck, ours are going to change. When we get up in senior age, but just the idea of understanding that you have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Awesome. It's amazing, and so you'll make choices even as a child. But then there's reasons why they don't give children too much control, because adults don't want to hear the truth, I always say. But yeah, so personally, it's just changed my life. Oh my God, the last 6 years of my life and it's only been 6 years. So the last 6 years of my life have been so responsible, so on course, that there's no going back. So I think about, I'm 43. I think about the 30 some odd years. What was I doing? Like, I wish I had purpose, even though I did. I wish I knew my purpose.
Can I interject? Do you care to disclose your age?
43. 44 and 3. And so I think personally it's done wonders for me. The hard thing about having purpose-centered education, if you're the only one that has it in your circle, it's lonely. It can be lonely, but that's okay. That's okay, because
the journey comes with isolation.
And you'll find people that'll be open and have had their experience with purpose in other ways. And you still, you know what I feel?
Connect. I feel a lot of people have experienced it. They just don't know what to call it. And we're driven.
We're given the language.
We're driven in society where all behavior has to be labeled in order for it to be properly identified. So I definitely concur with that. Moving forward with the next question, our 8th question, how have you? Oh no, excuse me. I'm just not together. Apologize. 9th question. When you are in the classroom, we may have touched this, so we can skip it, or you could add a little bit to it. When you're in the classroom, how does advocacy and purpose-centered education come to life for you and your learners?
Oh, when I hear heartbreaking, heart-wrenching stories, and I've either experienced it or haven't, and it's new to me, but I get personally invested. Because I know that there's more and there's better. So it's like, oh. So I have a, when you all are talking, I have a, oh God, I can't think of the word. I have not a form. I have a structure. I have a layout. A layout in my head of what I do. So I listen, and I listen to understand. And then I start thinking, I put myself in it so I can feel the emotion, and then I take myself out. And so when I take myself out of it, it's more of like, okay, I'm out of it because they don't need to be in it. I don't, and it's my own little graph of how I work things out before I give the answer. So I always listen to understand. And when I'm in the classroom, the whole point is you can't fix anything, but if you can allow someone to see their own thoughts, like literally see it for themselves, then they'll go away and they'll think about it. It's not about finding the answer right there. The answer's gonna come. The answer is always in the answer. The answer's in the question. So, but if the person never has the opportunity to see somebody else's vision of it, they're stuck in their own thought process. Yes. So I think the advocacy comes after understanding that they understand their own. Right?
So we get back to the dimension of self and others.
Right. So it's like, okay, I'll advocate for you, but I'm not going to advocate, and then you still don't know what's going on.
Which is a system.
Right.
And which is a skill.
Right.
And then also builds into values and ethics.
Right. Oh, well, yeah.
We just having a purpose-centered education conversation.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay, do you need something to drink?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. Question 10. How can you apply purpose-centered education to social justice, human service agencies, and non-for-profits?
Do you mean as an individual, or you mean generally speaking? How can someone?
So since the question was so broad, however you
Oh.
choose, that's on me as a
Okay.
journalist. So however you choose to interpret that is fine for me.
So I guess, well, I'll just speak for me.
Or give me an experience or something, or an example, or whatever you feel comfortable
Well,
with.
I've not physically worked in a social service setting, but I've been in social service settings when, I've received food stamps and they treat people horribly.
Powerful.
They're very inhumane. And I personally don't think you need a human service degree to be humane. I think you need to be treated humane to be humane, though. I think those that are treated inhumane, that's all they know. We do what we know. People do what they understand, and they do what works. And even if it's not humane, if it's working for them, if they're getting something out of it, they're going to keep doing it.
Right.
Some people just, that's all they know.
Right.
So how can we have advocacy in social justice, and just let's start with being kind and being humane. And then people will want to listen to us when we go to fight for people's rights. Because this is a hard truth too. We have so much available to us and so many services, and some of us take them for granted. Some of us abuse the system. We abuse the opportunity. And I think some of these systems that are and services that are out there for us are not for us to sustain the rest of our lives. It's so we can go to school and we can grow and make a difference in our own lives, and then go out and help. So
I just would like to quote Audrey Cohen, since you took it there, because in the article that I printed, it's Part 6, Special Focus Feature, Empowerment Toward a New Definition of Self-Help by Audrey Cohen. It says, in quotations, Dr. Sally, what are human services? Stated most simply, they are the complex interactions that address and respond to human concern. When successfully, they make positive and lasting differences in people's lives, and they help improve the world. Now, in the final years of the 20th century, a major portion of our workforce is engaged in these very activities. They are extended to areas that are not normally considered human services. In manufacturing companies, for example, they are key human service components: customer service, human resource management, which may spell the difference between the industries, but the success and failure is still important. The importance of human services cannot be overstated. While we can argue on the overall nature of human services, the question is whether there is an overreaching purpose for which gives continuously to the broadness and vastity of the field. I believe that it is. Empowerment is the purpose of human services. Not only must human service professionals themselves be empowered, but in addition, their goal is to help others become empowered to increase their ability to manage their lives more effectively and realize their potential as creative, responsible, and productive members of society. What you just said.
yeah.
Have you ever read that article? Have you been for
a bit of years ago.
Okay, so that was part of like why I pulled these questions.
Okay.
This, in my purpose one, this article took me through a lot emotionally and mentally, because I'm like, this is so what I believe, this is so me. But for so long, I felt weird, like I didn't belong in society, I didn't belong in the church, and just different areas that just messed with me. And so this liberated me a little bit. So I just wanted to touch on it because I like, for me, I like I guess you can say confirmation. So it's just funny that you took it there, and that quote is similar, same thing as if it was a manuscript, because what you were just saying about so just my little boo-boo. Okay, so just a few more questions. Question 11. Can you share a time when you had to advocate for yourself, when your back was against the wall? When and how did it play out?
I a few times. I'm just trying to
figure out which one you want to
When
share?
my back, no, just which, when my back was against the wall and I had to advocate for myself. I guess, so you want to know the outcome of it or just of a time?
Maybe just explore time and outcome of it if possible.
Okay, so I was in, I was in Purpose, I think, 4 or 5. It might have been 5. I was in Purpose 5. I'm trying to remember the years. I started MCNY in 2012. So I would say, I'm going to say 2013. I was in a horrible situation, a living situation, and I needed to move. And I needed to move. And this may be more spiritual than advocacy. I guess, the spirits were advocating for me.
This is the book that we use. The Artist's Way.
A spiritual path to high.
So this is the book that we use. So spiritual, come right on in. Come right on in.
So I needed to move like yesterday, or I was gonna be put out. I'm trying to make it short. And I met another student, and we started talking, and one thing leads to another. I told her what was going on, and she's like, "Girl, you need to get this book called The Magic." I think I told you. Did I tell you all about The Magic? Yes, I did. They've been with me long enough to know. But anyway, so it's called The Magic, and it's a book of gratitude. That's it. That's really, the magic is gratitude. And you go through 28 days or 29 days of writing 10 things down that you are absolutely grateful for. They could be small things. I woke up, I had breakfast, I had a smile on my face, it felt good when I left the house, I have the right lipstick, whatever. 10 things every day and at night. And
we have morning pages we have to do in this book.
Your morning pages?
Which I've been struggling
okay. with. And there's one assignment where you get like your magic rock, and it's your gratitude rock. And then it's another assignment where you make, it's in the book, you make a check and you write your check out to yourself, and it's all these grateful things. So at the time, I needed a little over $9,000 to move. I found the apartment and everything, $9,000. I had a little money saved, and I was waiting for my refund check.
Want an MCNY refund check fix?
Wait.
Lord.
But I needed it in time.
Right.
It was a timing issue. And no lie, Torian got me my check early. I didn't ask for, I told him my circumstance, but I wasn't pressuring him for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw how much I had and I had given in the end, when I moved, I had to pay the movers and everything. It was to the penny.
Really?
It was to the penny. And I had to advocate with the landlord. Like I had the first, you pay. My credit was good. You pay your first and last month's rent.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the last month, but I gave them $18 to hold it. I didn't want them to take the apartment. And so I had to advocate for myself, but it was more spiritual, and it was about faith, and it was just about being grateful that I had the strength and the wherewithal to go this alone and to take care of my business alone. Yes, the choice I made to put me in that situation wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think if I wasn't in MCNY and understood purpose that I would be able to get myself out of it.
Wow. Because
I understood while I was going through being grateful and, trying to find a place, I understood the choice I made to do this. Like, you see how this feels? This doesn't feel good. This is scary. This is irresponsible. This is not healthy. You chose this. And I walked myself through it. And so that's one of the major times, almost being homeless and having to find a place and So yeah, get the magic, y'all. It's a good
book. We already touched on question 12, but if you want to add something more, you can. What is the purpose of purpose-centered education? I think you've answered that throughout the interview.
Yeah.
But if there's something else you want to add, feel free to.
Well, freedom. How about that? Okay. Just freedom, because when you understand your purpose, you're free from a lot of things that aren't your purpose. Like you said, you don't know what you want, but you know what you don't want.
Right.
That's in anything. I didn't know I wanted to be in a classroom and giving back like this. Heck, if I knew that I wanted that.
And you guys, I'm sorry, she's talking to my co-host now. If you could come over.
Come over here.
You gotta come over and turn. Yeah, if you move over some. My co-host, who is one of my classmates, and we just finished having class, and so she's sitting in with me, like I said before. So. There we go. I'm having a good time. I can do a little TV show.
Freedom.
Right. We should do. This is really.
You really should.
We're really turning this out. I really have. I like to say.
So
and look at the technology that we're using. Not much. A clipboard. If you
can
only see how
this is a good background.
This is. It feels like we're really in the studio.
Like we should do a podcast.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
We're gonna. Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Look, I'm the first episode, y'all.
Yes.
Right. And you're going on my YouTube channel.
Oh, Lord.
I had to create a YouTube channel for Dr. Sally to upload, so I'll show it to you guys
That's
afterwards.
awesome. I didn't give you Dr. Sally.
You didn't take Dr. Sally?
I didn't, the schedule just didn't work out.
She's tough. She keeps you together, but it's been rewarding.
We all go.
Yeah.
Whoever you get that's tough, cares about you.
She does care.
They're preparing you for master level education, master level purpose centered education. You know, because you take this with you.
You know what it is though. What I just sidetracking off the video is the book is pushing me to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
And because she's the one that's facilitating the change, I kind of took it out on her. So you know how that is.
I think she understands.
And I do, and
she's ready.
So this is like my apology now in advance because
she's like,
I was going to send an email about it, but it's just we'll talk. But I realize when you introduce such heavy transforming stuff to people, a lot of times you tend to ricochet stuff off. The residue you want to put on them because it's a trust thing.
By giving you this, she's advocating for you.
Right.
She's advocating for you, and she's doing it in such a way that it's going to grow you, so you're prepared to advocate and give this to somebody else. Because what you have in you, somebody else has in them, but you're going to grow from it. Then you'll be prepared to help that person grow out of theirs.
Wow, this is becoming. Whoop. All right.
Look, Audrey, I don't know if Audrey knew
she's
all
here.
this.
But I don't know, but
Audrey
she knew we are in the times.
Yeah.
We're in the time. Okay,
She was
so
ahead of it.
we got like three
She
more
was ahead of
questions.
it.
She was so ahead of the game.
I don't know if so much she was ahead of it or she was just bold enough to bring it to life. Like, say it. And some people, that's what I'm saying, like,
Possibly.
know who you are. Because some people just have that, guess what? No. You said that, but that's not the truth. That's what really... Some people are bold enough to give away the truth and just let life happen. And some people are afraid of that.
I don't want to play the race card, but I do love the fact that I want to prefer, no matter her race, I just like, for once, it feels like someone was of a different cultural background but understood my people,
and
our
understood.
people, and for her not to come from the roots of African Americans and then slavery and all the stuff that we go through, for her to understand the educated mind or minds or this construction, because this purpose in education doesn't have culture or race attached to it.
Right.
It's free for all, even though we do see it show up in a lot of minorities in our school. Right. I just think that it's such an amazing opportunity for all of us just to be able to say and to see you, for us as one-time alumni in our associate program this year, 2018, and still in our bachelor's program and looking to get into the MBA program, to sit here with a two-time alumni here and a one-time alumni at LIU, it just shows education coming full circle. Right. And for those that are spiritual, 3 is the number of completion. And so it's 3. It's just, wow, it's just a party. And you guys out there too, we love you. Okay, so what is your understanding of Audrey Cohen's vision? I feel you touched on it, but if you want to share something else at this time.
I would have loved to, and I would love to sit down with her daughter and spend more time speaking with her daughter, now that I'm on the other side of things.
Maybe we can align an interview
that
with
would
the
be
3
great.
of us and her.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would help us out.
Just to see where it came from, what her mother was like before establishing this, because I think it must have started, her spirit must have started in the home.
Absolutely.
And just wanting it.
Needed to know what home life looked like.
Right. I think she wanted all to experience everything. Like, everybody should have the opportunity to experience the fullness of what they are are should have as a human being.
Right.
Like, we are all entitled to good. We are. And we all have the capacity to work for that good. And work through what we're going through to get to that good. So I think her vision was to free people up and give people opportunities no matter where you came from, cultural, socioeconomic background. I think that was her vision. And I think she did it. She's doing it well. You know, if you're willing to come here and put in the work,
It happens.
great stuff comes out of it. It really does. This place is significant, and if you put the work in, you will leave here educated and not indoctrinated, and with a working education and degree, not just a piece of paper, you know. And so I think that was her vision. I think her vision were BCAs are proposals. I really do. These are proposals. Every purpose is a proposal to get that grant. You know, whether it's even in self-assessment.
And that's crazy because I look at it that way too. But you know what else I look for me, something I would want to work on. I've been doing a lot of research where, you know, we're scholarly.
Yes.
And we don't even understand. I'm not going to say we because maybe other people have. I
No,
didn't fully understand.
we actually are.
I didn't understand that about myself, meaning there's nothing stopping us from publishing papers now.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I want to start that because, like, I feel like she saw something for the future. I feel like I see something for the future where client tracking is a mess. And from working in agencies, the way we do case notes. And what I want to do is create, even with the technology, I want to create something where the case note is a CA. And the client and the caseworker can manage the CA. So when we finish our journey, you have a documentation of your growth.
Right.
So
That would be
and so I
awesome.
think that's what we're moving to. So the need, allowing them to do the research. Okay, so for example, you let's just say you're in an abusive relationship. Before we even can get you to understand what you're in, so now you need to read literature.
That's
So and then you need to do a literature review,
Right.
and then we need to identify the need. Then we need to find ways to implement. You know how we're going to come up with a plan of action.
Right.
Then we need to do logs of how we implemented it, and then we need to do an evaluation. And now now you see how you've grown on paper. So the next time the situation may come up, you have something to refer back to and get.
Right.
Okay, I see the trauma. I see
Right.
I can't deal with him. Or I can't deal with her. So that's just something I've been playing
you
with.
see what the trauma looks
right.
like.
So
Right.
I just think that's amazing. But that's my little fundamental thing there. Okay, so 2 more questions and we're done. You guys have been so great in the virtual world. I know we're 32 minutes in. It wasn't supposed to be that long. Hopefully you watched it and enjoyed it and you enjoyed the audio. But it's a great interview. Okay, so question 14. According to Audrey Cohen, which we touched earlier, the purpose of human services is to empower people. How have you seen this applied in the years of working in human services or the social work field or your life, or just how have you seen that empowerment, please, visible?
Well, I guess
purpose.
going to you all's graduation.
Oh,
Like you all were so happy. I know you
were.
felt empowered. Like
I felt incredible.
you know,
it made it all worth, all the at 32, all the stuff I've been through, it just made it all worth it at
Yeah.
that moment.
And it
Yeah.
made everything make sense. Like in the end, like,
right. It
Okay,
it
I
all
went
came
through that
together.
to get to
To
here,
yeah.
like, and it felt amazing.
Well, and I'm a visual learner.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think from being spiritually abused and neglected, and even raped, I feel you can say, because I want to write a book about it. You don't always get to see the outcome.
Right.
So even though people are walking, you get the grades and you get closer, you just sometimes you just want to touch it.
Yes.
You just want to touch it.
I went through a process.
You just
like,
want to touch it,
the
honey.
week before.
Oh Jesus!
I was just so excited within me that it's like, oh my God, I gotta be there. I gotta feel this feeling that I'm feeling in my chest to see if it's really the feeling that I'm gonna feel when I'm there.
Right. Right.
It was
Mind you, we're still in school for our bachelor's degree, but we walked because we have enough credits for our associate's degree.
Right.
So we needed that to help keep us going for the bachelor's.
Yes, because initially my plan was never to go for just an associate's. When I enrolled into college, it was, I'm going for my bachelor's.
Okay.
The only reason I switched my degree over midway through is because I went through a trying time. I was stressed. I was breaking down, and I almost felt like I couldn't do it. But I knew that if I seen something, if something was tangible, I could like have that motivation to keep going.
Okay.
And so switching over to associates, I think that was probably the best thing that I did for my academic career right now.
Get it all.
It's like, all right, now I got this push. Now I know how it feels. I got the feeling, but now I have a new feeling that I'm trying to experience. And that's more on a master's level. Not even the bachelor's, because although I'll walk for that, I feel like it's just that master's now. I can't, not that I skipped the bachelor's, because I know that's next.
Okay.
But now mentally I'm preparing for a master's because I'm
There
already in the bachelor's.
There
it's
you
like,
go. Yeah.
I'm already there. So
That's how it
now
works.
is the master's, and now I'm trying to figure out which colleges. If
And
I'm gonna stay here, if I'm
trust
gonna
me,
go somewhere, you know.
You are so prepared. This college prepares you for the writing, the APA, like the scholarly way of writing. It really does prepare you.
And Professor Sally's been big on that, like quoting and citing. And I had to catch myself because, you know, plagiarism is so easy to get into, and like I summarize.
Some people don't mean to plagiarize,
and I didn't,
and
see that, and I think that's when I got upset at her, because she had said, you know, you're plagiarizing, and I was upset because for me, what I felt I did was did like a summary of something.
Okay.
And she gave, but if it's verbatim, and you know what had happened was, for me, I caught it. I said to myself, you taking all the time to put in this work. What happens when you write something and publish it, and someone don't quote you, or they quote it as their own? How offended would you be? And I caught it, and so now I understand why institutions thrive on it, and understand why she was so adamant about pulling it out.
Well, it's also illegal,
and it's
illegal,
and it's illegal,
yeah.
right? So. Thank you. I got it, and I hope you're proud. I got it.
It is, honestly. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like the first semester of my doctoral program. We had to take research and library research, and I was crying because it's online. I had no, and I'm like, oh my God, I know APA, but I don't know this, and you're learning it by yourself, and you're making sure things are right, and it was really hard. But once you know it. And you have
it's natural.
You're
it
good.
Just goes.
You're good. And
I walk around with this APA
and there are a lot of sources
now to figure it out. Yeah.
We're gonna get you the 6th edition, the book.
Oh, it's a book.
The book that I have. Yes.
Okay. So we gotta get the book.
I wish I had it because I put it up.
Book.
You're gonna need that, and you're gonna need the Oxford research book for your research. Like, you know, it teaches you what different research is and how to do certain research. What research is valid, invalid, and you know, it's a lot. But this school prepares you. Yes. It really does. A 5-page paper is 2 pages.
It's nothing.
It is nothing. A 14-page paper will be nothing. And when you go to certain grad schools, a lot of people aren't prepared for APA, but you will be. You know, and so, I just wanted to say I don't know this, but check online. But while you're in school, go to the APA, American Association of Psychology. Go to the website and be a member now as a student. Get in now, and it's cheaper. You want to be, you know, it'll give you information. You can get on the newsletters and get new information. There might be symposiums out there in which you're, you know, interested in. So it's good to have.
Thank
you.
Yeah, so we're wrapping up. We have one more question. According to Audrey Cohen, empowerment is receptacle. You become empowered as you assist in the empowerment of others. How have you applied this? How have you been empowered by staff of MCNY students and our clients over the years? Okay, so I guess I'll put the names out there. Like, I was fortunate to have Dr. Amicia Quinones. Yes. Dr. Artavini. Yes. Dr. Adele Weiner. Dr. Gray. Dr. Grallo. Dr. Theodore Damien. Who am I missing? I might be missing, but those 6 spirits are so in my head. Well, that's for here. In LIU, I had some amazing people too. But
this is home. This is home base. I will say that also. You're going to go to other institutions and you're going to find that this will always be home. I don't know, you get the emotional support here that other places may. Well, they don't have to give it to you.
That's why I'm afraid to go somewhere else from a master's.
Don't be. It's what it is they're expecting you to already be on that master's level, so you're not going to get the coddling you would get here as you know, but that's okay because you'll be prepared.
Right.
And you can always come back, ask questions. Oh my gosh, I have this assignment. What does this mean? You know.
And that's funny you said that because I always wonder why you always see so many alumni here. You get it's not a big campus.
It's home.
They're always in the computer lab, and you get why are they here? And now I get it. It's like you get beat up out in the world, and then you want to come back home.
You want to come back home
to get that on, and go back after they get beat up.
Because the thing is, you think you're gonna find it.
You're
gonna find it. It's normal.
Hashtag we love our
Hashtag
MCNY.
you were in a private school, and it really is private. It's small, and you're gonna go out to these universities for these higher degrees. And people don't want to talk to you. They don't want to share notes. They don't have a conversation. You have a conversation. They awkward, socially awkward, right? And so, I guess, well, to get back onto the question,
take your time.
The empowerment is, it was given to me. If I was orphaned and didn't know my parents for the past 6 years, I got something.
Wow.
So I'm good. That's not the case, but I'm good. And so that empowered me. And now I feel like, okay, let me give that back in my way. You know, and not just here, not just in the school, but out in the street. You know, I do radio, on the radio. Like, I really give that back. Like, it's a new you, and you're going to give that new you away. You're going to utilize it. You're going to help to empower somebody else. Like, you got the old you, that's your stuff, whatever. You've succumbed. You got over that. Now it's a new you. You can empower people to be a new them.
Right.
You know. So yeah.
This was amazing. This I don't know about you guys, but this turned out to be a lot bigger than a school assignment. It's it was touching. It was emotional.
But these are the type of conversations
we enjoy.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I love that it's recorded.
I love that it's in the Bronx.
And I'm gonna share it. And I'm gonna share it because this is something that we all could look back on as we move forward.
But I would love to do more of this.
I would love to do more of this
on different
Did you take Empowerment of the Arts yet?
No.
Do it with Professor Sally online.
Okay.
This I'm telling because I know we similar. It's online. I'll let you see my Moodle shell, and you can just see some of the stuff that I've done. It'll do for you, and if you read through the chapters of this, it'll do for you. And I think if I'm not mistaken, she's the one that created the program. So it's nothing like having a curriculum creator still at the forefront. It ain't been changed or watered down. It's still, and I think that's why she's so forceful because she get, oh baby, this is my baby. Don't come up in here. Don't come up right. Don't come up in here.
She's gonna want to see the transformation.
Right. And she challenges you and she gives you feedback, but it's good. And I just think, it's just as a child, as you start to get older, the expectations changes.
Absolutely.
So it's given purpose 6 is 6. Not purpose 1, not purpose 2, not purpose 3, not purpose 4. You have 5 under your belt, in theory. You should know how to cite or do things a little better.
Right.
The expectation is there because it's growth. There's no way you keep going and you're not growing. So I definitely get that. I do want to just wrap up. I just want you to introduce yourself, your first and last name, your purpose, and whatever you want to share since you came in. The people should know who you are.
Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I came in midway through. My name is Deshawn Frazier. I've been at MCNY at the Bronx campus since it opened. This is my 6th purpose. I am a one-time alumni with MCNY for my associates, and I have 2 semesters to go before I reach my bachelor's. My purpose, we speak about this topic often, and it's kind of hard for me to say because I don't think I've found my purpose yet. I know, I'm still in the process of figuring that out. But along these 6 semesters, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about people and how to deal with them in a manner that's fit for them, because not everyone can be dealt with on the same level. MCNY has really, I don't even want to cry because MCNY has really changed my perspective on life, me as a woman, me as a parent, and just as a person generally. And now I'm able, it's scary sometimes because sometimes I'm seeing things because I've learned new things, and now it's like it's in my face. So it's easy for me to identify certain things that I probably would have passed by in the past and not really put too much focus on, but it could be scary because once you know something, you can't unlearn it. It's like you're set in that. And although I don't want to stop learning and I don't want to end it here, I'm going to continue. Yeah, I got to push forward. So as a student, I'm just really focused on just being my better self, and as a human service provider, I want to be the best. Like, I don't want to be what I've encountered in different settings, whether it's HRA, or whether it's my daughter's after school program, because I just had an altercation there, a situation there, not an altercation, just something that I had to address that I didn't feel I should have even had to get there. Because, you know, as a human service professional, when I look at someone else in that position, my expectations for them are so high, and when I don't receive that, it frustrates me, because you're sitting here for a reason and you have this responsibility. And as a client, because in that situation I'm a client, my expectations are for you to handle yourself.
And we're all clients. When you're in the supermarket, you're a client.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're at the doctor, you're a client. You're at the school, you're a client. Just in life, we're clients.
Yes.
So we have a client syndrome.
Yes.
Where no one wants to be a client, but yet we're all clients.
Right.
It's hilarious. But moving
thank
right
you
along.
for allowing me to sit in.
No,
This was awesome.
This was
I mean,
awesome.
I really want to pursue this as a
Me
podcast.
too. I'm ready to.
I've spoken about this
So we're
to
gonna
some of
go.
my
We
peers.
gotta map this out.
Episode 2.
We
are.
We're gonna have to map this out.
And there might be some others involved.
Right. We're gonna have to map
This
this
is
out.
good lighting, though. Keep
Yes,
that
Do
in
you
mind.
want to share anything before we close or wrap up?
You know, I'm proud of you two, and I'm excited for you, because I know what it feels like to finish. No, I know what it feels like to like come full circle in this, and then go and then be nervous in the next level, and then grow, and then go to the. So I know what's coming. You know, I know what's coming, and I'll be honest with you, it's not easy work. But I have a feeling that you all are going to be addicted to education.
No, I am.
I am now.
Like I come to class just to hear.
Like the
just to
forever
learn,
student. The forever student. I'm even like, oh, when I'm done with this doctoral program, maybe I'll take cooking classes.
But the first thing they say in Purpose 1 is when you enter into it, you have to commit to a lifelong process of learning.
Well,
stay current with the
once
times.
you learn something, you can't unlearn it.
Right.
So once you've learned that you can learn, you want to
Learn
more.
Wow.
It's
No matter what,
addictive. It's like a drug.
addictive. It's
Yes.
like, you know.
And then you want to share, and you want to get feedback.
Meet,
You want to.
Then you meet people that like co-sign.
And you can't do
the
this with
behavior.
everybody.
No.
And this is the stuff that
and I can't do it with my regular friends.
Right.
My friends that are not students or in education or
And
pursuing
see,
their goals.
It's
I guess
different
when
mindset.
I always had like an issue with a nerd was, but I guess my interpretation of a nerd would be doing the same type of conversation over wine, and just having fun on a rooftop. And just having, being us
That's
without
a dinner party.
that's it. Right?
But it's just intellectual
casual
conversation.
Right.
That's it.
And this is wild.
That's it. So I look forward to that for you all. And I mean, I look forward to finishing myself. I wonder what's next for me, because I didn't plan this.
Yeah.
Like, I've been consistent and I've made plans to finish, but I did not plan to be here. So I'm like, if I didn't plan this and I'm so happy, what the heck is next?
And see, I think that's a part of the purpose.
Like,
once
the
you find
creator
your
is at
purpose,
work.
it pulls you.
It does.
Well, as soon as you surrender to it, the purpose will pull you right along.
Right.
You ain't got to do nothing else.
So-
The hardest thing is the surrendering part, I feel. Once you do that, it pulls you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So this concludes the my questionnaire for this assignment. So thank you to my co-host. Thank you to Professor Smith.
Thank you.
And so this is
choosing me.
Kelvin O. Howard Jr. Interview for the topic on advocacy through purpose-centered education with Dr. Rashawn Smith.
I'm not a doctor yet.
Excuse me, Professor. You know why I keep saying that? It's so crazy because it's coming. So I like to. You got to release it to the atmosphere. You got to release it to the atmosphere.
Okay.
And the hopes of fulfilling the requirements of my bachelor's and bachelor's of professional studies in human services at the Audrey Corn School of Human Service and Education for the course of promoting empowerment through the arts with Dr. Professor Sally. Thank you guys. Be well.